We are sitting here in your brand new 2020 Subaru Forester Premium. This video is just going to go over a couple of the features of your new car. So first, I'm going to start at this bank of buttons that is down by your left knee. Of course, you see the buttons for the power liftgate, this one on the top. Left is going to, if you press and hold that button, will open up the rear gate. You see another button to the right that says memory. That button will allow you to set a memory height. So if that button is depressed, you press it in, it sinks down into the dashboard. When you open the liftgate, it will only open about 6 inches or so, but from there you can manually lift it to wherever the height is that you'd like it to set, and then you press and hold the button on the rear gate itself in order to teach it that memory height. That way, anytime that memory button is depressed, that's all the higher that gate will go. Otherwise, it will open all the way. That dial on the right-hand side, that will control the interior gauge lights, that it will dim or brighten them. And then down on the bottom row, the bottom right button is to turn off or on your blind spot detection. If it is off, you will see that orange indicator on your dashboard letting you know that they are off. But when it is on, if you look at your side mirror, you will see that orange light come on if somebody is in your blind spot. The button right to the left of that is the auto start stop feature. So the car does have the auto start stop. If the car comes to a complete stop and the conditions are right, the engine will shut off, saving you fuel and minimizing the emissions. As soon as you take your foot off the brake pedal, the engine will fire right back up. Now, if you were to turn that button off, you see that little indicator in that center screen goes orange. That A is orange, that means the auto start stop feature is off. If it is white, that means it's on. That line through it means that one of the conditions is required for the engine to shut off is not being met. In this case, the car is in park, so the engine is going to continue to run. Also, the seatbelt's not on, so the engine will continue to run. If the air conditioner is working hard, if the defroster's on, any of those sorts of reasons, if the wheels are turned, the engine will continue to run. So you'll see that white line through it. But if those conditions have all been met, the engine will shut off. Looking at the steering wheel controls, we do see these buttons actually pull toward you, and that's going to change the information that we see on that center screen. So, your trip computer, your digital speedometer, tire pressure monitor, things like that. The left spoke of the steering wheel is going to be for your audio controls. The volume goes back and forth through your preset radio stations. Of course, the voice control to give the car commands to make phone calls. On the right spoke of the steering wheel, we do see our S and I buttons for sport and intelligent mode. The car is by default in intelligent mode, as indicated by that I in the brackets next to P for park. If for one reason or another you wanted to give it a little bit of extra get up and go, you press the S, that puts it in sport mode, gives you a little bit steeper of an acceleration curve there. But it always will default to intelligent mode. Then you see your buttons for your cruise control also here. So it is adaptive cruise control. When you turn cruise control on, you're going to see indicated on that screen, as well as your top center screen. That silver card does represent you. And below that silver car, you will see your set cruise speed. Now, if the vehicle in front of you is moving slower than that cruise speed, your cruise speed will still be displayed. Your speedometer will show you how fast you're actually going, because you will slow down to their speed at a set follow distance. So if that car in front of you is moving slower, you will hear your car beep at you once, indicating that you're engaged with that vehicle. And you'll see another picture of a car also, visually letting you know that you're engaged with that vehicle. That follow distance can be adjusted by these two buttons. The top one is going to extend your range there, indicated by those white hash marks. The bottom one will decrease that follow distance. If by chance you wanted regular old cruise control and not the adaptive, you can press and hold on that follow distance button, and that will put you into standard cruise control. Also, this button here on the bottom right hand corner of the right spoke, that is for the lane centering technology. So if your car is in cruise and cruise is set, you press that button, you see the steering wheel icon show up on the right, and the car will actually actively steer itself into the center of the lane. Now, it's not autopilot. It is still just a driver assist system, but it will steer the car in the direction of the center of the lane. So if you want that on, you can have it on. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. Of course, the set and resume switch will also add or subtract miles per hour from your speed. If you just do a tap on that, if you tap up, it'll increase you to the next increment of 5, and then go by 5s after that. If you wanted to go in increments of 1 mile an hour, you can do a press and hold, and that would allow you to go up by 1s. Otherwise, it will be 65 to 70, and so on and so forth. Other eyesight features you have, they can be turned off by these buttons over here. So you do have the lane departure warning where the cameras are watching the lines painted on the road, and as long as you're going over 37 miles an hour, the car will beep at you when you go over those lines. To the right, that is the button for the pre-collision braking, where if there's an obstacle in front of you, the car will warn you first, and if you don't pay attention to that warning, it will apply the brakes for you at the last second. If you do press and hold on those buttons, you will hear a beep and you will see an orange indicator letting you know that feature is off. So that's the lane departure warning there. The other one will turn off the pre-collision braking. So with the pre-collision braking, hopefully you notice that there's a car, you see the brake lights ahead of you and you hit the brakes yourself. But if not, the car will warn you first. It'll flash some lights, it'll beep at you, hopefully getting your attention. At that point, hopefully you hit the brakes yourself. If not, again, the car will apply the brakes at the last second. If we move on over to this screen right there, you're always going to see time and temperature in the top corners. So time and outside temperature are always going to be located right there. The middle number is going to be your climate control, which you can adjust by using these knobs down here. The left one is going to be for your thermostat, and you'll see that adjust accordingly. The middle one is for your fan speed. Let's see if we can get that in frame there. There we go. And then the right one is going to change which vents the air is coming from. This screen can also be changed. So that right there shows you your trip computer. But if you hit the button that says Info on your steering wheel, on the left spoke there, that will scroll through various pieces of information on the screen for you. Most people do keep it on the trip computer right there. Of course, the next step down, you're going to see your infotainment system here. So, the phone can go ahead and pair your phone so that you can take hands-free calls. Apps, so you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are the two ones to note there. So depending on the type of phone that you have, if you're plugged in through the USB port, it will show you various apps up on the screen. It will mirror whatever is on your phone. So, Google Maps, Waze, Spotify, Amazon Music, whatever it is that you use will be displayed right up on there. As far as the media is concerned, that's going to be your CD player, any Bluetooth audio, music from your phone, or anything plugged into the USB ports or the 3.5mm auxiliary jack, which those are also located right underneath there, right in front of the gear shifter. One thing to note is that those apps, in order for those to work, you do need to be tethered through that USB port as well. And then, of course, the radio right up there. You see FM, AM, XM down the side, and then you see your preset radio stations, of which you have 18 are across the bottom. If you have a station that you'd like to plug in, all you have to do is press and hold, until you hear that beep, and then that will set your preset stations. You do have the physical buttons there. That home button will take you to your home screen. You can also use this touch screen as well. You see your hazard lights right above your climate controls. If we move down to your gear shifter, you do see park, reverse, neutral, drive. Kick the shifter over to the left after it's in drive. It'll put the car in low gear if you needed that. Below that shifter, you're going to see a knob for X mode. If we press that button, you're going to see an indication up on this screen as well as your center screen that you are in X mode. What that does is it gears the car down lower. It will desensitize your accelerator pedal by half. So if you're in loose material, you're less likely to spin that loose material out. And it will act as a hill descent control, keeping you below 12 miles an hour when descending a hill. X mode is only operational at speeds under 18 miles an hour. So if you do bump that going at highway speeds, fear not, it's not going to do anything. So we'll go ahead and turn that back off. You'll also do see where you can turn off your traction control by spinning this knob to the left, or you can turn it right back on by spinning it to the right. And that's going to be indicated by that orange light right there. We see our heated seats to the right, driver and passenger, high and low. And then to the left, we see our parking brake, which is an electronic parking brake. To engage that, which is lift on up, you see the red light right in there. It also will say park in your speedometer. To disengage, just put your foot on the brake pedal and press that down. Nice part about having an electronic parking brake is that if your seatbelt is on and the car is in gear, as soon as you touch the gas pedal, the parking brake will automatically disengage. Working along with the electronic parking brake is your auto vehicle hold. If you press that button, you will see AVH displayed to the right of your speedometer. What that's going to do, anytime you come to a complete stop, you can take your foot off the brake pedal. If AVH is on, your seatbelt also has to be on in order for that to work, as it should be anyways. But if your seatbelt's on and AVH is on, when you come to a complete stop, you can take your foot off the brake pedal and the car's not going to go anywhere. It will stay where it is until you hit the gas pedal, and then you will be free to move about. So that's just a quick overview of a lot of the new technology on the 2020 Forester. Of course, if there's any further questions, you can always reach us here at Spengler Subaru.